Ukrainian cluster shells massacred Russian troops fleeing Urozhaine.
Here's a summary of the article.
By advancing east and west of Urozhaine, a key Russian strongpoint in a chain of them leading south toward occupied Mariupol, 50 miles away on the Black Sea coast, the Ukrainians left the increasingly desperate Russian garrison, including elements of the 37th Motor Rifle Brigade, just one way out of Urozhaine, the TO518 road, threading south into neighboring Zavitna, Baranya and Staromlyanuka. Russian forces have been using cluster munitions since the beginning of their wider war on Ukraine starting in February 2022. It's unclear how many Russians died in Urozhaine, and on the road out of Urozhaine. Scores? Hundreds? Either way, there's a good chance that, as of today, the only live Russians in Urozhaine are prisoners of Ukraine. ISW has not observed confirmation that Russian forces have completely withdrawn from Urozhaine, and Russian forces likely currently maintain positions in at least the southern part of the settlement, the think tank wrote on Sunday. The Russian information space is seizing on Ukrainian gains in Urozhaine. To highlight poor Russian morale and command challenges in the area, ISW noted. For the Russian dead in and around Urozhaine, it no longer matters who's at fault.
This post received a score of 4,300, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
They're very effective against groupings of enemy soldiers. Russia prefers launching them at apartments, but glad to see the many examples so far of Ukrainians using them against clear military targets like they're intended.
Sometimes I wonder when they do things like hit an apartment building if it's on purpose, or are they so horrible at their jobs and their equipment so poorly made they hit it by mistake.
It's too frequent to be accidents. Russia's goal is obvious now that they want to depopulate Ukraine. The more cities get hit with bombs, the more people in those cities will choose to leave Ukraine, and many will never return. That way, less Ukrainians on your border for future Russians to deal with. Essentially genocide.
Pretty sure yours is the correct answer. The Russian propagandists on the Ukraine-Russia Report subreddit have been going on about depopulation of Ukraine for a few months now, which suggests it's an official policy.
Clusterfucked.
Russia seems well trained in grouping their soldiers together. When Russia fucks up, they fuck up well.
Greater than a powerful division-size Ukrainian force, including all 4 Ukrainian Marine Corps brigades, had flanked Urozhaine, a tiny settlement with a few hundred structures, when this division reaches Mariupol, and it sure looks like it will in due time. It will be 50 miles from the coast. Even without taking Mariupol, this seems pretty significant to me.
You don't even need to reach it if you can control the access routes with artillery and drones.
Right. 10 more miles and they have full HIMARS control to the sea. They are driving them into the sea. They can't just keep backing up Lik in the east. It's a big problem for the Russians.
RU attack helicopters have unfortunately done an okay job at knocking out AFU armor. That will need to be rectified, and I'm sure it will be, before HIMARS are risked. It seems like the Ukrainians are downing a couple of alligators per week here lately, and that is awesome.
That was mostly true in the beginning of this counter-offensive. However, Ukraine has adapted and it hasn't been as much a problem. The biggest problem right now is the sheer number of mines they have to get through. When they try to clear mines, that leaves them vulnerable to add an artillery fire. It's a real grind to get through those stretches that are filled with mines. They've been very focused on hitting supply routes, supply dumps, and bridges to try to dry up frontline ammo reserves. This allows them to clear the mines without overwhelming artillery targeting them.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.